episode starts now.
Intercepted! Picked off by Toledo's Nasir Bowers! That's dropped by Bettelheimer, and he has to shuffle it, and it's scooped up by Ball State. They're going to take this to the house.
Navarro hit, finds a wide open Williams. His tight end rumbles.
Against a secondary in Cal that's playing well.
Another deep shot. This one's wide open in stride. Caden.
His defense is starting to ramp it up.
Blitz coming. Aller under pressure. Sacked.
Scoring offense in college football, just 3 points so far. It's a play fake pass right side, intercepted. It gets picked off, and now running down is Revis to the end zone.
Sibley in motion. It's going to be Salter keeping it. Salter, a fake. Salter in the end zone. Liberty strikes first in overtime.
And you're aided by a 75-yarder inside 10. Stewart takes it again. Shakes his way inside the 10. Rolls past the Liberty D.
Yeah, the linebacker is out.
Yeah, and you just got to have that next man mentality, right?
Belkamp looking deep for Smith. He's got it. Touchdown, Hilltopper.
Welcome back, you degenerate motherfuckers. It is your hostess with the mostest, your Highness. And I got the teddy bear, Tedward, on the ones and twos. I did talk him in to having a small speaking role this episode. So you guys will say, hey, this Ted guy, yeah, he's with us. But it's Tuesday night delight, guys. We're heading into a little action. Your light might be flickering in that fridge. You're half baked with a blunt still fucking smoking away there on the coffee stand. And you got this terrible idea of taking Kent State in the second half plus 17.5. What are you doing? Listen to your Highness. We smash these small schools. Why? Because the public just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. If you've never tuned into an episode before, welcome. We appreciate you tuning in. This is the realest fucking podcast out there. I say what I want and I mean what I say. If you're not offended by the end of it, I didn't do my job. I'm your Highness, the king of the Kush, the sultan of all the sweats, the highest priest of the Hail Marys. Forget those parlays. We're looking at mid-major madness. And today, we're going to take you through the tour of the most chaotic college football neighborhoods around. But this is where we make that moolah, baby. This is episode 12, G5 Gangs, Portal Kings, and Tuesday Night Delights. Ted, you ready? This is the part where you talk, Ted. Ted, you ready?
I'm ready.
There he is. Tedward's on the ones and twos. So we're so glad we could hear the big teddy bear's face. All right, we're talking Maction, right? That's the Midwest teams, a lot of those Ohio, Michigan type teams. We're talking the Mountain West. Boise State's without Genty, but we got other ballers out there. Maybe a little sprinkle on a little gambling in Vegas. I don't know. Dan Mullen might be there. We might be talking about the running Rebels of Southern Nevada. University of Nevada, Las Vegas. We're talking Conference USA. And we're talking about some pain. Because everybody has a little pain in their life. If you ain't betting Ball State at 11 o'clock in the morning from Chili's parking lot before you go in there and meet your Tinder date, you ain't living life, baby. All right, Ted, I think we had a voicemail or call-in. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. While he gets that teed up, let me remind you, give us a call if you're listening or watching. Call in. Leave me a voice message. I might ring once, but just go straight to voicemail. Call and leave a voicemail. If we play your voicemail on the show, we're going to give you, right now, because what do we say? Less than 100 subs, we get $5 free bet. Once we get over 100, we'll keep upping that up. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. But we have Justin, once again, he does this religiously, and I think he's up over $60 or $70 worth of free bets this year, just in the 2 months we've been doing this. So, Ted, are you ready? Looks like he's got that teed up. Go ahead and play it when you're ready, sir.
Hey, Your Highness, this is Justin again. Not calling with so much of a question this time as just wanted to pick your brain a little bit. Obviously one of the most recent things in the news has been the gambling probe in the MLB. We've obviously had the Shohei Ohtani incident. We've had Luis Ortiz, and now apparently Emmanuel Clase. It's obviously not just a Major League Baseball problem. We've seen this previously in the NBA and the NFL. But I'm curious, as a professional sports bettor, what your general thoughts are on this topic. And also, I would kind of want to gauge your confidence on the integrity of the events just in general. How can the general public have any faith in the integrity of the events that they are betting their hard-earned money on? Thanks, as always.
I think that's a great question, and I think I might shock you, surprise you, and enlighten you with the answer. So for those, let me just reiterate, he's basically talking about the two pitchers in Cleveland that got busted for the gambling. So we're talking Clase, which is the closer, which is the most recent one, which is probably about the day he called in, I'm guessing. Is probably when that was announced. Before that was the starting pitcher, Ortiz. So the two guys for Cleveland Indians, and look, they need to go back to the Cleveland Indians. There's nothing more Indian than having a little gambling going on. And if you have any reservations about it, make a reservation on the reservation. We don't give a fuck. But here's the deal. I don't know exactly what entails the Clase thing. I don't know if he's a part of the original investigation or is it something separate. I haven't heard any details either way. The Ortiz thing is pretty cut and dry. If he doesn't get suspended, frankly, it should be a lifetime ban. Should be a lifetime ban. Let's nip this in the butt real quick. His is maybe the most egregious, which is betting on the first pitch of the game in which he threw the ball in the other batter's box, because the bet was that it would be a ball and you can't throw it anywhere close to where the guy could possibly take a swing and fuck you, right? Just because you throw a ball doesn't mean the pitcher or the batter won't swing. So he had to throw this in the dirt a mile outside, a country mile outside, so that nobody would even think about swinging. But here's what I'm going to tell you. As a professional bettor and somebody that obviously relies on the integrity of these sports. Now, can you still bet on a rigged sport? Of course, boxing and horses and things like that. You just got to be on the right side. I am not privy to that kind of insider information, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I am. So, for me and most General Joes out there, a clean game, a fair game, is a game we want. I think as we get into this more digital age and the world of everybody having a podcast, be included, you're going to hear more stories. But I'm telling you, this is not new. It's just being brought to light. This has been going on for decades. We're just now being made aware of it. I mean, Pete Rose, you ever heard of the guy? The Chicago White Sox, back in the 1920s or something, Ted? Was it the 19 teens, maybe? Anyways, you know I'm talking about, Shoeless Joe. And those guys. So gambling's been around. The difference now is we're able to, and I say we, I just mean as a people, we're able to monitor that. The technology is there to be able to pick up on this, because no human outside of those directly involved would have had any idea on Ortiz's deal. No chance. But because of technology and the oversight on this, they were able to pick up on the discrepancies in the action on such a prop bet to alert people to then take a deeper dive. So for those at home that don't understand how this works, so there's a third-party organization out there that is kind of like a watchdog, and all it is an IT-type firm that just scrapes through and scours through all the data points and all the books across all the United States operators in real time. And what happens is there's just thresholds set within this so that when they see any irregularity within what's considered the norm or within the thresholds, it alerts a human within that company, right? So the computer AI itself is not saying, this guy's cheating. What it's saying is, hey, we got something going on here that based upon the thresholds that the company set forth, are not adding up. So it automatically notifies somebody within that organization. They then take a little bit deeper look and say, okay, no, it's a one-off type thing or whatever, whatever that might be. In the case of Ortiz, obviously they go, whoa, that's really fishy as fuck. Okay, once the human says, yo, that's fishy as fuck, then it gets thrown up to the, it's like their Office of Fair Play. The same people that issue like suspensions for, Draymond Green yelling at the official. Like that same office is the same kind of office that handles this. So they look into it and then they investigate. So that's where all these investigations. So usually by the time, in this case, where Major League Baseball is doing their investigation, or, we've had guys in the NBA and things like that have issues. By the time the leagues are doing their investigations, there's already been 2 or 3 investigations that have already gone on. So more than likely, by the time you're hearing about it on the news that Major League Baseball is investigating these guys, there's some pretty damning evidence already against these folks. Now, that is from the league's perspective. That is maybe from the gambling world's perspective. From a player's perspective, if you're innocent, now if you're guilty, fuck, do what you got to do. If you're innocent, and I think Ortiz is guilty as hell, but I don't know what Clause A is guilty of. I haven't heard one way or the other, and so I don't want to speculate or point fingers. But if I'm Clause A, and I'm not directly, and they have no proof, and I don't give about no fucking computer system or some bullshit. If you don't have actual fucking proof that I cheated or did something illegal and you suspend me and I'm losing money, there's going to be a big fucking lawsuit. A big fucking lawsuit. Not only against the fucking Major League Baseball, but also against this fucking company. It's a slippery slope we're on here. But if it comes back where they have proof, maybe there's a text message, email conversations, phone records, whatever it is, where they have confirmation that he was on the take, where he intentionally did this, lifetime ban. And that goes for all sports, not just baseball. These basketball players that take the unders on themselves or have their buddy lay lots of money on the unders and then go out and play like 5 minutes in the first quarter and then bail, lifetime ban. That's how you nip that shit in the butt. If Major League Baseball comes out and suspends Ortiz for life, I think less players are inclined to do that. All right, Justin, I appreciate the time again. If you want to be on the show, we would love to have you. You are going to get a free bet if your call does get put on, your voicemail does get put on. The number, once again, 480-269-7423. Again, just leave a voice message, and we'll get you on the show. Now, let's get into the reason you're here, and that's for a little bit of Maction. All right, segment number 1, Maction. We're talking the good, we're talking the bad, and we're talking the crazy transfer portal. Because, guys, this is college football in 2025. If you're not up to date with the transfer portal, you do not know what's going on. If you see at home, I'm rocking the Toledo Mud Hens hat. Born and raised in the 419. Don't knock it. It's only my shithole. Only I can shit on it, okay? But we're going to start with the University of Toledo, the Toledo Rockets. All right, Toledo, Ohio. By the way, I know a lot of people out there say Toledo. It's Toledo. Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio. The Toledo Rockets. You ready for a little rocket football? Toledo is like that hot ex-girlfriend. Keeps texting you at midnight. She's one of those smart girls, real stacked, but never commits. Can never get you across the line. A little bit of a cock tease there in Toledo. They got a little quarterback battle going on there in Toledo. We'll see who comes out ahead. But the truth was, I was high on these cats last year. And then around week 8, they come crumbling down like the Roman Empire. These guys have what it takes to win the MAC this year if they can put together each and every game. Problem is, somewhere around week 8, 9, or 10, they shit the bed. I don't know if those bad bitches from Toledo start putting it down in the dorm rooms and these guys can't keep it together, but something goes on in the Glass City where these kids fumble the ball, literally, come mid-October. So that makes me a little leery of Toledo, but there is a bet out there. And Ted, can you pull up DraftKings real quick? And I'm actually want to look to see there's 2 things we want to look at with Toledo. One is, what are the odds for Toledo to go undefeated? 16-1 odds. Is that what I'm seeing correct there, Ted? All right, perfect. Now pull me up Toledo's schedule. 16-1 odds doesn't seem like long enough odds, but when you see the schedule, you realize there ain't much there to worry about. Kentucky should be down this year, I think. I don't think Kentucky's good. Their defense should be decent, but Toledo, I think, has the offensive power to compete there. Western Kentucky, Morgan State, Western Michigan, Akron, Bowling Green, Kent State are all wins. So get through that first game at Kentucky, and then you're rolling into Washington State on October 25th, undefeated. That's the game we're talking about. That's the game that we're worried about. Now, for the conference, that doesn't matter. That's not a conference game. That doesn't count for the conference schedule. Northern Illinois, Miami, Ball State, Central Michigan all should be wins. Toledo, I'll tell you right now, what's their win-loss total? Because 2 losses is the max losses for these guys this year in the regular season. 2 losses. All right, so Toledo win-loss total for the year is 8.5. And they're playing 12 games. We need them to get to 9 wins, which means they could have 3 losses. I don't think they lose more than 2 games. I think, let's put that down as a 3-unit play, Ted. Toledo Rockets over 8.5 wins this year. Also, what is it for them to win the MAC? Yeah. Ohio is the defending champions, and I hate them this year. I do not like them at all. I think Toledo, I don't want to say coast, but I don't think they struggle too much. I think they're the odds-on favorite from game 1 to game 12, the whole season. I think they'll be the favorite team. All right, so I like Toledo over on wins. That's the play I really like. I would throw a little bit less, maybe a 1 or 2 unit play on Toledo to win the conference. And if you're, let's say, a $25 bettor, I would throw 10. If you're a $50 bettor, I'd throw 20. And regardless if you're a $100 bettor or more, I wouldn't put more than maybe like $50, $100 max. So like if you're a $500 bettor, I would put $100 on it max. And that's Toledo to go undefeated at 16-1. And it's like a half, like a third of a unit max. Again, if you're a smaller unit player, I don't mind, if you're a $10 bettor, like I don't mind you throwing 5 on there, like which is 50% of a unit, obviously. But if you're a bigger bettor, like a $100 bettor, don't put 50 on it. Put like 20, 25 on it. It's kind of a long shot. I would bet definitely, regardless of your unit size, no more than half a unit. If you're a small unit player, if you're a big unit player, I'm thinking 20 to 25, maybe 30% of a unit. So, all right, let's move on to Ball State. Ball State is the transfer portal capital of the world. You didn't know that. They're in Anderson, I believe, Indiana is where they're located. But Ball State has added 47 players. 47. That's how many transfers are coming in to Ball State. It's a whole new team. There's only 11 guys that play on one side of the ball at one time. 22 plus special teams and some extras. I mean, they got a whole new fucking team coming into Ball State. New quarterback, new wide receiver, new everything. They hit the fucking... It's like you're playing... and I know the game is out now, but they got the NCAA football, the game for the PlayStation and the Xbox and everything. It's like you're playing Dynasty mode with one of these small cupcake schools trying to build them up. And you're like, yeah, I don't like the direction this is school doing. Let's just start this whole fucking thing over. That's what they're doing in Ball State. That's what they're fucking doing in Ball State. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out. Their depth chart looks like a fucking landfill of crypto wannabes. But sometimes there's a little nugget. There's a little nugget sometimes in there, so they could surprise you. The one matchup on here that I actually think could be a fucking interesting one, or one to look forward to, is actually the Eastern Michigan game on November 15th. Because Noah Kaniga is on that team. He's hitting the social media, and I think that's Kaniga. Maybe that's how you pronounce it, Kaniga. Anyways, but yeah, you could have fun with his name. There's a few other fun names out there you can have fun with. But Eastern Michigan, I'm going to be watching a lot of Eastern Michigan games for no other reason, Tedward, because I'm waiting for one of these announcers to slip up. To slip up and say and pronounce the name the wrong way and see if we can get somebody in some hot water this season. So a little Tuesday night action, late in the year. What do they got on here? Look at Kent State, November 5th, right? We'll see if that kid's a star by then. Let's see if they have to call his name out a lot. That'd be fun. All right, let's go into the last team we're going to cover for the MAC, which is the defending champions, the Ohio Bobcats. Now, I might be showing my age here a little bit, but back in my day, Tedward, the Ohio University Bobcats were known for this epic Halloween bash down there in the Valley of Athens, Ohio. I don't know if that still goes on, but that was something that people would talk about for a long time. Wisconsin, the Badgers are known for a big-time party drinking school. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Athens, Ohio. There's nothing to do down there but drink cheap beer and fuck fat bitches, you know what I mean? And them farm girls down there in southeast Ohio, man, they'll give you a little something for your grits. All right. You ready for me, Ted? Hey, Ted, you still with me, baby? Tedward, did I lose you?
Nope, you're here.
All right, Ted, we're ready with a little Ohio Bobcats. All right, so this team is balanced. They still have some weapons. And again, I don't think they repeat for many reasons. I don't think the offense is good enough. But again, they would not. It wouldn't shock me if they won because their defense is pretty stout. But this schedule is fucking brutal. And I think they get beat down, which is going to affect them come conference play. So Rutgers will be a tough game going to Rutgers, and Rutgers physically will give them hell. I think Ohio can beat Rutgers, but it's not going to be an easy game. West Virginia, same thing. West Virginia is really going to test this. Sorry, I can't talk. West Virginia's offense is really going to test Ohio's defense. These guys are going to be beaten and battered rolling into Columbus on September 13th. And then having to face Ohio State. I mean, they have 3 brutal fucking games to start the year, and then a cupcake. Actually, 2 cupcakes. Maybe 3 cupcakes, depending on how those transfers work in Ball State. But Bowling Green, I expect nothing out of Bowling Green. Good luck to you, Eddie George. I like you. I hope you do well. I might even fly in town to come watch a game. I like this guy, number 27. It's hard for a Michigan fan to come on here and talk about an Ohio State Buckeye, but Eddie George was legitimate as fuck. I believe number 27 was the jersey he rocked down there in the horseshoe back in the day. But as a Michigan fan, that was a guy I always worried about. And then obviously had a great NFL career. I got high hopes for him. I hope he does wonderful things with the Falcons and restores that I-75 rivalry that those in the Lucas and Wood County areas in Ohio are very familiar with. So Ohio, I think, is false victim to their scheduling. I think they get beat down out of conference. Obviously not Gardner-Webb, and I don't think Massachusetts. But I think some of these other teams, the Miamis, there is no Toledo on the schedule. So we'll see. But I think, what's the win-loss total? Because I think they got 3. I think they're a 4-loss team, which would make them 8-4 for the year, is what I'm calling. So the Ohio Bobcats, 7-5 even money. I think that's spot on. I'm not touching this. 8-4. If they go 7-5, no problem. But folks, that just gives me even more reason to take the Toledo Rockets to win the MAC. Bowling Green, look at that, 6.5. I don't see them getting to 6 wins. I'm not going to dive deep into that, but Bowling Green under minus 200 is not worth taking. Scroll me to one other MAC team. Look at the Ball State win-loss total for me, please. Yeah, 3.5 wins. Pull up their schedule real quick. Maybe there's a couple easy wins in there. Again, there's so much unknown in Ball State with all those transfers. Purdue, Auburn, that's loss. Now, they could rip off a win there. UConn, New Hampshire. Those teams probably ain't good. Kent State's probably no good. Yeah, they're like a 4-win team. maybe 5. I wouldn't touch. All right, talking about a team that brings in a lot of transfers. Let's move it out west. Heading west, young fella. Ted, we're going to the Mountain West. There might not be a higher conference in all of the land, and that makes them a favorite of mine. You heard of this guy called Dan Mullen? Yeah, he was the coach of the Gators in Mississippi State. He's now the running Rebels general in arms, the head chief in command. He's brought 42 kids with him. Now, different than Ball State. Dan Mullen is bringing in 42 players with him. Ball State's bringing in 47 dudes. We don't know what we're getting with Ball State. With UNLV, 42 guys, these are not all. A lot of these guys are highly touted, highly rated transfer portal guys coming in. You know, there's a lot of jokes I can make about them being in Vegas and all that bullshit. And with Justin's call earlier and some of the take, actually the Nevada, Las Vegas teams of the cheating and the gambling are the teams I worry about the least. So the Athletics will eventually be in Las Vegas. I would not worry about them. Those are going to be the most scrutinized teams. It's the little fucking rinky-dink bullshit teams away that tend to get in the troubles, right? Teams in Cleveland are getting troubles. Not in Las Vegas, but the running Rebels, and I believe they're at Boyd Stadium, I believe is where they play out of. But the quarterback, I'm high on him. I think he slings the rock quite well. They got this running back, JoJo, I think is the kid's name. High on him. But really, let's pull up the schedule. I think there's a game that we're going to find out where Dan Mullen has these boys and if they're come to play. They were a good team last year. Let's not forget UNLV. I know they get overshadowed by Boise State and Genty and all the shit they did there in Boise last year. But UNLV was a very good team last year. Idaho State, Sam Houston should be a win. UCLA is not going to be that great. They could win that game. Miami, Wyoming, Air Force, all could be wins. It could be very easy for UNLV to be undefeated headed to Boise. And I'm not sure how good Boise is going to be this year. I really think Genty kept that team or made that team what it was. So I can see very easily UNLV beating Boise State, New Mexico State, Colorado State, Utah State, Hawaii, and Nevada. And do we want to gamble a little bit on UNLV this year? If they were to go undefeated, Ted, what would be the odds? And I also want to know what the win-loss record, because I feel like this is another where we go over, because I see maybe 1-2 max losses. I think this is a 10-win team in Southern Nevada. All right, UNLV 8.5, 105. So 9-3 were winners. I like that. It's a one-unit play. I'm not going to go crazy. What are they to be undefeated? All right, so UNLV to go undefeated 16-1, which is the same odds we had Toledo at. The difference is Toledo's schedule is way easier. So I'm actually going to say if you're going to pick somebody to go undefeated, take Toledo instead of UNLV. UNLV, I would need to have it almost 20-1 or greater, and that would be a minimum. I wouldn't get too carried away. I like the over on the wins for the season, but I wouldn't go crazy. Maybe a one-unit play. What is it for them to win the conference? Right there, you had it. Yeah, 6.5-1 all day long. I do not think everybody's high on Boise State. I'm not seeing it. I'm saying bullshit. Give me the running Rebels. 6.5-1. Put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. All right, talking about Boise State. Let's just get into them. Genty, he gone. Defense should be still good. They still have a lot of preseason All-Americans on the team, so they're not going to be dog shit. Let me say that right now. Boise State's not going to be dog shit. They're still going to be in the conversation to win the Mountain West. I just don't think they're anywhere close to what they were last year. I think they take a huge step back from the team they were last year. And I think UNLV makes a huge improvement. I'm not in love with Dan Mullen. I think he was terrible at Florida. I think he was good at Mississippi State. And I think he's best suited as a coordinator. But in a smaller conference with less coaching prowess, and I'm really low on the way fucking Boise State's coach handled Genty last year. That dude should have been the Heisman Trophy layup if he knew how to fucking coach a fucking player in the college. Jesus Christ, cost us a lot of money. Dan Mullins is not a great head coach. He's a great coordinator, but I think in this position, with his time and experience, I think he's going to have the right guys and right plays. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm very high on Dan Mullen in this situation because of the competition and the coaching caliber he'll be going against. Let me see Boise State's schedule. South Florida, W. Eastern Washington, W. Air Force, App State, W. Notre Dame is going to wipe the fucking floor with them. Blowout. They'll beat Northwestern. UNLV is going to be a tough game. That could go either way. Nevada, Fresno State should be W. San Diego State should be tough. We'll see where they're at that time of the year. Colorado State, Utah State should be W's. If I have this out the way I think this plays out, is more than likely UNLV is going to be a one-loss conference team, and Boise State will be a one-loss conference team heading to the conference championship, in which, actually, this is probably how this plays out. Boise loses to Notre Dame. Boise beats UNLV in the regular season, but Boise loses to somebody like San Diego State or something stupid late, so they have one conference loss. UNLV wins every game on their schedule except for the Boise State game. They rematch in the conference championship game where UNLV prevails as the conference champion. That's how this season plays out in the Mountain West. Let's talk about San Jose State. You're not talking about them. Your uncle ain't talking about them. The guys at work ain't talking about them. They're quiet. They're sneaky. They're like that dude that sits at the end of the bar, doesn't say a whole lot, and still leaves with that fucking fine piece of ass at the end of the night. Be that guy. This is going to be a team that we're not going to make any season bets on or any future bets on. But this is going to be a team that we're going to be taking with points a lot. The public doesn't know shit about the fucking Trojans of San Jose State. I'm more of a lifestyle guy, but get in where you fit in. Sometimes raw dogging is the way to be. We'll be raw dogging the Trojans all season long with points. When they're the favorite, we don't want them. But when they're dogs, let me see that schedule, Ted. When the San Jose State team is dogs, and they will be dogs a lot of the time, these boys will cover. Remember this. Write this down. If you're listening at home, write this down. San Jose State covers. Now, they may be favored against Central. They'll definitely be dogs against Texas. And here's a great spot. Texas goes to Ohio State and then has to come home and place San Jose State team that they don't give a fuck about. The numbers are going to be stupid big. San Jose State will cover against Texas in week 2. Just go ahead and put that bet in now if you can. Utah State, they might be favored. Stanford, they might be favored. New Mexico, they might be favored. Wyoming, I don't know. Utah State, they'll be favored. Hawaii, they'll be favored. Air Force, I don't know. Nevada, they will not be favored in San. Really, the thing is, they got a cupcake schedule. The only games that they're big dogs on are the obvious ones. But yeah, late in the schedule, Nevada, San Jose State, Air Force, those games will key in on. But I like Texas. I think San Jose versus Texas in week 2 with the points is something that we definitely need to be taking a look at. All right, that's going to put a bow on the Mountain West Conference. Really, the takeaways you need to have is fuck Boise State, bet on the Rebels, and keep your eye on the fucking Trojans. Let's move over to Conference USA. We're talking Flames, we're talking Cock, and we're talking Hilltop. That is the Liberty Flames. And with the Liberty Flames, I mean, I think the obvious answer is to say they're going to be good. But here's the thing. The coach for the Flames, if I remember correctly, I think this is now his second or third year, that come from Coastal Carolina. Chadwell or something like that, I think is the coach's name. Not impressed with him at Liberty. Hugh Freeze was the previous coach when the public still remembers Liberty being this dominant team in the Conference USA. Not impressed with him at Liberty. Not the results of Coastal. I have a theory when it comes to head coaches in college football, or any football coaches for this matter, is I'm all about getting that young guy. I'm all about getting that young hot coach. I'm all for that. But you got to give me a guy that's been able to prove it at 2 different places first before you hire him. Now, Liberty is one of the small schools. They don't count. But if I'm talking a big program at Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, UCLA, Notre Dame, those caliber teams, stop hiring these fucking coaches that have only proven it at one place. You got to prove to me that you can do it at more than one place, and then you can come get a job. Look at all the coaches that busted out because of one good year. First one that comes to mind is Tom Herman, Ohio State to Texas. Strong guy, Louisville to Texas, right? But there's been a number of guys that have had one good year at a small school. They go to a big school and they suck dick, and not the good kind. The guys, and here's a guy that came to mind, Brian Kelly, successful multiple places, goes to Notre Dame. I'll call him a success at Notre Dame. We'll see how things pan out at LSU. But he's been able to prove Cincinnati, Central Michigan, right? Places that he was good at. A guy I love that should get a fucking major big job if somebody would fucking give him the money is Jason Campbell. I think I got his name correct. Jason Campbell of Iowa State, the Cyclones. Used to be the coach at Toledo. Was very good at Toledo. Has done wonders. Remember, that's the guy that was coaching Brock Purdy. Iowa State Cyclones. The better Iowa football team now.
Matt Campbell.
Whatever, close enough, Matt Campbell. I like that they can hear you now. That's the kind of coach in Alabama. By the way, the coach in Alabama is not going to be there much longer. I know this is not an SEC show, but let me throw that in there. Alabama's head coach will be gone within 2 years. Matt Campbell should be candidate that they should be eyeing on for the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, back to the Conference USA. Let's get back on topic here. So Liberty, and what is Liberty's odds to win Conference USA? Because I'm guessing they're one of the favorites. And I'm telling you right now, we are not taking Liberty. We do not like Liberty. I want to know their win total, and I want to know what the odds are to win the conference, because I think under a win total, not to win the conference, then we'll take a look at the schedule. So Liberty, Bibberty, 9.5. Don't like it. What is it to win the conference? Yeah, heavy favorite. Do not like them at all. Let's see that schedule. Maine should be a win. Jacksonville State's going to be a tough game. Bowling Green's a win. James Madison will be tough. Old D will be UTEP should be easy. New Mexico easy. Delaware easy. Missouri State easy. Florida International easy. Louisiana Tech and Kennesaw State. They're a 3-loss team. 9-3. They were 9.5 was the last. 1, 2. Yeah, I think they're a 3-loss team there. The team I like, and we'll get into them in a second. Actually, let's jump to them right now. Jacksonville State. The Gamecocks was at Jacksonville, Alabama. I think it's Jacksonville State. Jacksonville, something down there is where they're at. But this team is high-powered action, baby. Up and down the field. They're bringing back a quarterback. They're bringing back the running back. The offense is going to be just as fucking electric as they've always been the last year or so. I think they make some defensive improvements. That's where they're lacking a little bit. If they can make a couple more stops in a game, this team I'm high on. What is their schedule like this year? All right. No huge teams to worry about. Liberty could give them, like I said, struggle in week 2. But a lot of easy games. UFC doesn't count for conference. What is it for the Gamecocks to win Conference USA this year? 8-1. Give it to me. Give it to me and give it to me good. And then the other team we're going to get into is the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky at 4-1. This might be something where we take 2 teams just to fade Liberty. But let's get into the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. They are an air raid with ADHD. I think they do a line of crack cocaine before each game. I don't know if they know how to run the ball, but they throw it, and they fucking throw it 50 times a game. Actually, a fun game is Western Kentucky versus Jacksonville State. That's a high-powered 140-point type game. Something stupid. Bet a lot of the first half overs before the defenses can adjust. But then bet them to cover a lot of second halves when defenses are a little tired. They'll be able to stay in games. I think against decent defenses is where they lose too many games. That gives Jacksonville State the edge. Let's look at the Hilltopper schedule, though. All right, so they got, a couple wins there. Toledo, they're going to lose to Toledo. They'll lose to Jacksonville State. They'll lose to LSU. They'll probably lose to Louisiana Tech or somebody in there as well. So I think the way this shakes down, Jacksonville State will definitely be playing for the conference championship. And I think for second, it's going to come down to the Hilltoppers and Liberty. And it'll be kind of how they shake out. I think the out-of-conference, Toledo, LSU are definitely losses. Jacksonville State, I think, beats them at the end of the year. That game's going to mean something. It's going to matter. It's going to be in Jacksonville State. That's 3 losses for them, but only 1 in the conference. So they could only have a 1-loss conference, 2 max. I think that puts them right in line. I think Liberty and then both have 1 conference loss. Jacksonville State, Liberty, and Western Kentucky will all have 1 conference loss. The tiebreaker will be on total record then. Jacksonville State will get in, and we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I think Liberty Bibberty or Western will be the other team. I think if you want to just bet against Liberty, which is what I think we should do, is we take Western and Jacksonville State to win the Conference USA plus 400, plus 8-1. And we just say, fuck Liberty Bibberty. That's what we would do with Conference USA. So that's what we're going to cover this week. We covered a little bit of action for you. The Toledo Rockets is who we liked in the action. Out there on the West Coast, we're going to be running with the Rebels of Southern Nevada. And then in Conference USA, we like Jacksonville, but you can also throw in a little Hilltoppers bet. Guys, that is going to wrap up the show. We are going to continue each week with the conference previews leading into the college football season. Do not forget, we have the NCAA AP Top 25 Survivor Pool. We're now taking signups. We are raising money for Asheville, Ohio, 16-year-old girls softball. We do appreciate your support. They do as well. We are guaranteeing a $1,000 first place prize. I really anticipate we get around 200 or plus entries, which means you're actually taking home somewhere close to $4,000 or $5,000 if you can outlast everybody else in a little game we call college foosball. College football is the greatest time of the year. At least for me it is. And Ted, I'm sure you feel the same way as well. What you need to know is your primetime games. For instance, your Ohio State-Texas game in week 1, the official week 1, not that week 0 bullshit, is where everybody and their fucking brother's betting on. That line is going to be so sharp and so tight. There's not going to be a lot of room for money to be made. And I'm not saying you can't make money. The EV is not going to be there. But the schools that most people don't pay attention to, the Mountain West in Conference USA, is where the real money is made. Is because the public doesn't know shit. Frankly, you don't know shit. Just watching the game doesn't give you shit. If you're not getting into the deep analytic dive that I do for each and every game, then we're not the same. And folks, whether I bet on the game or not, if you're part of the community, and if you were part of the community last year or the year before, you know this to be true, I will grade and go over every single college football game, regardless if I bet it on or not, so that you at home know how to use your money properly. Guys, that is my time. Tedward, I appreciate jumping on here on the ones and twos. The people at home, especially the ladies, appreciate hearing the sweet baritones of the teddy bear. Until next time, get in where you fit in, and we are fucking all the bitches. Peace!
Your wife is out here auto-subscribing to gluten-free dog biscuits. Buys how many Starbucks a week? And what the hell is with this organic birdseed that the Amazon driver keeps dropping off? But you're too much of a bitch to sign up for something that actually makes you money? Sign up now at wewinyouvin.com. Promo code LET'S GO.